All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Can you just give us a quick overview, name, firm, what you do, and what we're going to talk about?
Sure. Jonathan Hawkins, founder of law firm GC. We represent lawyers and law firms in business things.
In business things.
What kind of business things, Jonathan?
So the way I say it, is from formation to dissolution and everything in between. So
Wow,
we help.
full cycle.
Yeah, I hate this term, but we're a full service firm for law firms.
Awesome. And we are here at Vista's A Seat at the Table event. Why is this an interesting event?
Yeah, why are you here?
So part of the thing we've done for years is help law firms sell or transition, and it's usually internally to other lawyers. Maybe it's externally to another law firm. Well, there's a new option on the table now, and it's the private equity option. So I've done one deal so far, sell side, selling private equity. I'm in the middle of another one, and I'm here to learn, I'm here to meet, I'm here to see what everybody's talking about.
Awesome. Well, what is it? Can you think of something that, because you're in this world, what's something that you came here and learned that you didn't know before? Or what's something that was validated?
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting is there's a lot of interest.
Right?
I mean, there's a
More
lot
than
of
I thought.
Yeah, I get calls, people are asking, but there's 80 plus lawyers in there that are raising their hand, very engaged. They want to know what's going on, and they're very interested.
Yeah.
Why? Tim talked about the why. Why do you think there is
Fear.
the people in this room?
Scared.
Is it fear? Is it ambition? Is it I now can cash out? Is it I can grow? Is it like I can be a lawyer and focus on the lawyery stuff that I like?
National trial lawyers coming into my town.
Is it I hate Morgan & Morgan? I mean, Morgan & Morgan has taken more crap here than I've heard in a long time. What is it? Why are people
All
so
of the
excited?
above. All the above. So I know there are people in there that I've talked to that want growth capital. So they're here to see, can they get that? They're not ready to sell. I know people that are more towards the end of their journey, and they're thinking, hey, I'm sort of done. How can I get out? And then I think there are probably people in between, and they want to know. They're like, what's going on? Am I at risk? Is PE going to come in and take over the world? Which I think there is some fear in there. I've heard a lot of it.
You said growth capital. What do you mean by that? How does so we're a marketing, we're a growing podcast. Like that's what we talk about. So what are we talking about when we talk about growth capital, and how does that happen?
So growth capital, number one, I don't think the PE play that's going on now is not a growth capital play.
Okay, that's why I asked the question, because
Yes.
I didn't feel it. So tell me what we mean by growth capital, and tell me what they're not doing, and then tell me why you think it's not part of the conversation.
So the way I think of growth capital, I've got a good idea, a good plan, but I don't have enough money to fund the growth. So I hire you guys to do my marketing. It's working, but you're always chasing, and to really inject the fuel that you need, you want some outside capital to come in, because there's only so much debt that an individual lawyer or partner is willing to take on. So if you can get an equity partner that can inject that growth capital, then that's the way to do it. Why it's not happening here, I think the folks here and sort of the model at play here is we want an established firm that's already there, and then we're going to build off of that. Where the growth cap, I just know for sure there's some people in there that are looking for that.
This came up at our mastermind the other day. Client said, I want to get to $10 million. Should I just take on a bunch of capital in order to make that happen? What's the framework for which that attorney should evaluate that decision?
Well, first thing is, how expensive is the money? What strings are attached?
Okay.
And how's it coming in?
Okay.
So, it can come in as debt, where they say, you got to personally guarantee it.
Yep.
There's some of these litigation funders that will secure it. There's usually a personal guarantee, but it's secured by the case inventory or whatever. But, I guess, you could create the MSO as sort of the same vehicle and put the growth capital into that.
So this is my question. As a marketing podcast, I thought we would hear more of that.
That's not their play.
But that's not their play. But I haven't talked to anyone, really. We've asked this question to many people. Yeah. We haven't talked to anyone where that was where their brain is.
So,
why?
Well, I think it is. They're not talking about it today.
Yeah.
So, I was at a different conference a couple weeks ago, and it was all private equity people. And what their sort of view is that these kind of firms, they view them as branding and marketing companies. And so that's what they're going to be
These
investing in.
firms as branding and marketing companies?
Yes.
Well, they are, right? They're all, if you're getting a one or two market leader in the market, by definition, they're a brand company.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Really?
So,
One more. So
sorry, you think the growth capital game is out there, it's being played, it's just not at this conference?
I'm not sure it's out there yet. I'm not sure it's out there
The
yet.
conversations have started.
I think that it will grow, but I think you're right. Some of this needs to, everybody's talking about the regulatory risk.
Yeah, no one wants to be first.
Once it sort of gets settled and everybody feels it's safe, it's off to the races,
That's
probably.
right. And we had some other really savvy business leaders that are working at law firms now but came outside, and this creates an opportunity for those people to have equity in the business, right? Because every other company you go to, you're getting stock options and stuff. You work at a law firm, you can't get that, and you want to keep great people or attract great people in legal. So you're going to have an influx of capital, you're going to have an influx of talent, you're going to see a massive shift in sophistication in legal in general, and it's exciting.
And that's been, I will say, that's been a major impediment to law firms forever. How do you, for example, you want a CTO or a really high functioning COO, all these other companies can give them stock options and all these things.
How are you gonna get someone from Amazon to come work at Bill's law firm?
That's right. And frankly, we see that play out, right? Because you have been extremely critical of some of the human resources at some of these firms, right?
You mean I've said that the COOs and the fractional CMOs who have never been a CMO before shouldn't have their job?
You said yes, so that's one way of saying it. Another, I think, Jonathan, for your experience, I think would be really interesting that we haven't really talked about yet is talking about the pros and cons of doing lawyer-to-lawyer, law firm to law firm transactions versus law firm to non-lawyer owned entities.
So, one pro is that there's not going to be a regulatory issue. Because lawyers,
Huge one.
Huge pro.
Yeah.
I think a con is you're probably not going to get the same price. It's going to be a lower price, lower multiple. Again, the other thing when you're selling, who are you partnering with? Because you're partnering with someone.
Right.
Do you trust them? Do you know them? That's a big equation. And if it's a lawyer, maybe you have a little more comfort that they sort of know what it's like to operate a firm versus some institutional somebody that you don't know.
Right. The other thing that, and we talked about this a little earlier today, that I'm curious if you're seeing any of this, but I put myself in maybe I'm not the market leader, but I'm one step down. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm seeing the billboards go up. I got these out-of-state law firms coming in. I see it here. I'm at this conference. I'm seeing private equity and MSOs. I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know what? This guy down the street that I've known forever, he's in the local community. Maybe we partner up, and maybe it's not like a buy-sell, maybe like a merger. Are you seeing any of that kind of activity going on?
You want to see this?
I do.
I know you do.
That's what I'm cheering for.
Yeah.
Not yet, but I think it's coming.
You think it's coming?
People are talking about it. I mean, you got egos, you got things you got to piece together.
But again, I think you can get
egos.
You think about even in the 100%. But that there's also that plays into selling any kind of equity in your business. Period, right?
So this was fascinating. This was not what I expected. They were very clear. This is not McDonald's. You guys get to make the burgers the way you want to make the burgers, right? So they were very clear about that. It is not a McDonald's. We're not going to force
that as a merger too, right? You could do the MSO thing between law firms, operationalize the back of the house, and still have your brand out in the marketplace.
Well, there's brand and operations, right? And what I was expecting to hear was we're going to have a templated operations platform. Here's the tech stack. This is how we do things. This is how we do things for everyone, efficiency. Like that feels like the PE playbook to me. The merger of competitors within an individual firm, within an individual geographic market, to have a bigger face to go to market with, I think you have an ego issue. I think you have the integrations of those operations, good God, what a fight. That sounds awful.
Yeah. So I do, outside of PE, I do a lot of lawyers coming together for partnership agreements. So I see that a lot.
Can you talk about how that? So again, we're growth podcast. mergers, how do you make sure that that is going to work really well? Or because I don't know what the stats are, you probably have them at your fingertips. The percentage of mergers that fail is 30%, some horrifyingly high number. How do we make sure that if you're merging two law firms from a growth perspective, that you win? That the end result is everyone is happy?
It's hard. To some extent, it's a crapshoot. I have some things that I give people that are thinking about it. It's almost like premarital counseling.
I was going to say, you're counseling your side.
So you have all these questions, vision, what are your even finances, all the stuff. So you want to get through those. Now, probably people are so excited they're going to be like, yeah, and agree. But at least you've had that conversation, and it may not work out. So the other thing I do is build an agreement that I call them the exit ramps that allow them to get off, hopefully in a way that's not too painful.
That's right.
Okay.
And I wanted to respond and get everybody's reaction to this. You said that they didn't pitch the blueprint, but I got the sense that they're like, people are going to be asking us for the blueprint. So they're like, you can do it your way, but you're going to choose to do it.
See, this was where I thought we talked about egos and like the difficulty in changing the way firms operate, and they painted this in we're going to take the best practices of everyone, and you can choose to use those best practices or not. But if we're in a group and we all have equity in this organization, and you've got Billy over here, the dummy, who just won't fix this thing, and we all know that that's the problem.
Well, I'm actually.
What are we going to do with Bill? How does that work?
You brought this up earlier, and this is one that I'm super interested in. You're here on Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, but I think in particular in the marketing context, it's tricky because we had Josh here from Holland and Knight talking about like independent valuations, but like, look, there's a huge spread there, right? Like you can try to get the fair market value of marketing services. That's much different if you're like outsourcing certain things to doing labor arbitrage overseas versus hiring like brand consultants here. And that's just the marketing context and kind of to the point of all this. And you can react to it in like the law firm to law firm because not all law firms market themselves the same, right? Some people want to have hammers and explosions and other people don't want to be billboard lawyers.
Yeah, well, I think, again, it depends. The early stage, they want to keep the brands. They're buying strong brands, and they want them to stay how they are because they've been successful. But I do think as this continues 5-10 years from now, there will be more of the standardization, and there'll be opportunities for agencies like yours to get in on the MSO, too.
Totally. All of these different, that's the thing that's so interesting is I think that all of these, the stuff that might live in the MSO, it provides great opportunities for all these other ancillary businesses that serve law firms, right?
And there's certainly eventually economies of scale. So if you're an advertising firm and you have a group of advertising firms, the media buy, you should be able to get a better deal on the media buy.
That's right.
If you're spreading it across. Mm-hmm. So where one firm could not get as good a deal when you clump them together. Same with some of the technology development. I can't afford to go hire 3, advanced AI technician people where, a platform could and spread it across all of them. So there are definitely some economies of scale, investment, marketing, all those things.
Let me go back to this law firm to the law firm merger.
Okay.
Red flags. When does it completely go stupid and you saw that from a mile away?
The big one is, disparate practice areas. They come together and they think, oh, I'm going to refer you stuff and you're going to refer me stuff, but they're completely different practice areas.
Different practice areas with completely different brands.
Correct. So like, I'm a divorce lawyer, you're a personal injury. Oh, I'm going to refer you all this stuff and you're going to refer me all this stuff. And it sounds good in theory, it never works.
Why? Where does that go stupid?
They just, how many, PI attorneys that I know get a lot of referrals from divorce lawyers in general. Just maybe they get one every 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And they think if they come together, all of a sudden they're going to get like 10 a month. It's just not going to work.
What I find, the pattern that I see is because the PI world is so much bigger on the aggressive marketing. The brand awareness of non-PI lawyers has got to be close to zero. What we often see from PI lawyers, and I'm assuming you get this complaint, but it's actually a factor of success, is like, I keep getting all this stuff, all these requests for stuff that we don't do. Can you make that stop? And you're like, dude, you've got the populace asking you for help they don't care what you do. They just trust you enough that they're going to go to you. Like, oh, you don't do divorce? That's a bummer. But you've won that. So I find that we have PI lawyers with strong brands, with brand affinity, not just brand awareness, who get these requests for things that they don't do. And I'm watching, this is anecdotal, a handful of them be like, yes, you know what, I'm going to slap on criminal defense because I have enough criminal defense business that I'm not going to refer it out, and we're going to keep it in here, and that's going to be a small part of my growth.
So I'll say this. Another thing I see problems with firms that do a contingency business model and a non-contingency business model,
okay.
They long term they don't really work because one is going to number one, you have basically two different operations.
Yeah.
And I know some firms that have high-end hourly and high-end contingency, and there are these battles, compensation battles internally,
Sure.
and it creates tension, and eventually people get pissed off, and they sort of go. So there's some of that too.
Right.
And then on contingency matters, it's easy to refer out and get a referral fee where that's allowed. Where it's very hard to refer out an hourly matter and get a referral fee.
Right.
It's so. I think there could be a play, but I would say you're better off doubling down on what you're good at, your core. If you're going to grow, you do a different adjacent contingency practice versus a divorce practice.
Workers' comp,
Now,
PI.
maybe you could create a lead company and you're selling leads. Maybe that's how you monetize all the things you get. I don't know.
And then you can sell those leads to multiple people and not tell them.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited about, because we've been talking about this for years, and this isn't really on the radar, because and we'll see, maybe these guys will catch on to it, but you're a divorce law firm. You can create an MSO and have counseling services and meet the needs of the consumer across a variety of dimensions.
Okay.
Beyond just the law firm. Maybe you've got mental health professionals. Maybe you've got child counselors. Like, you've got all of these ancillary services for people that might be struggling with issues related to their family. And when the time comes when they decide to divorce, like all that, you're a client of that. Customer of the MSO, client of the firm, and you're meeting those needs across all these different dimensions.
Well, I mean, that could be PI as well, right?
Yeah, you get a rehabilitation.
So hold on. This is where I feel like we need an ethics person to answer this question.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go get
You got him right here.
I got the chiropractor
Right here.
who works for me,
Yeah.
right? Who's
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy's really fucked up, but he's just saying that because.
Why not? The MSO can deliver any kind of services, not just isn't the MSO. The only thing the MSO can't do is deliver legal services.
So I think you're right. It could be a multidisciplinary practice. There are informed consent disclosures you have to make to the client and give them a choice. So you can see our therapy person,
Right.
Or
who's
you
in
can
this
see
business,
Janet,
or
who's
you can go somewhere
available
else.
27 miles down the road.
And frankly, firms should be doing that kind of stuff now anyway. Like, I think that I think there's a lot of issues with informed consent, even in around referrals between law firms. There's some jurisdictions, like, you're supposed to say, and in Illinois, for example, I could be getting this wrong. It's been a long time since I looked at it, but in some jurisdictions will say that even the referring partner has joint and several liability, and you have to explain that kind of stuff in your fee agreements to provide informed consent. So anyway, but that's where I think is the huge opportunity, not necessarily for the masters of the universe, but you're a small local law firm. Maybe you partner up with some of these other small local businesses. Like, that could be a huge opportunity there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, someone asked, where are we? We're next to the baseball park. What inning? The investment bank guy said, we're warming up.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said.
I would have guessed we were a couple innings in.
Yeah, so we're
Interesting.
warming up. We're not even, I'd say we're in the bottom, or the top of the first inning.
Top of the first.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Connor?
Okay, top of the first, right? Let me mix my baseball
Conrad
metaphors.
doesn't know sports.
I don't do sports
Rugby.
ball.
He knows sports rugby. Do a rugby one.
I can't do the scrum.
Did they have periods in rugby? Halves? Quarters?
Oh boy. Anyway, what is the second inning in your mind? Like, what is the next act? To use a different metaphor.
So I think there's a lot of, testing. There's the one very public Dudley DeBosier deal. There's been a few of these under the radar. I've been involved in at least one. I think when you see a big name, you mentioned Morgan, if that happens and there's no, regulatory issue, boom, it's on. or if there is some regulatory challenge and it gets upheld, boom, it's on. And then we're off to the races. That's the next act.
Okay.
I think.
I think that's right.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome.
Thanks. And if you want people to reach out to you, how would you recommend that they get a hold of you or get to know what you're up to?
Sure. Our website's lawfirmgc.com. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there.
Awesome.
I've got a podcast too, Founding Partner Podcast.
Founding Partner
Founding Partner Podcast. All right.
Thanks so much for stopping by. Great to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.